uncomfortable subject, and you have to talk about it, and you had to pull it out of me, because I didn't know how to start that.
Just take a few deep breaths. I understand it's very difficult to discuss.
It's hard to say, I took a life. Of course I take accountability. It was my fault. It's very uncomfortable to talk about it.
I recently learned that Christina Ferrer is applying for an accelerated release for my daughter, Jennifer Montgomery.
We were using together. She was buying from me. We were going to bodegas and buying drugs together. It was a whole bunch of things that were all wrong. I don't know how to start with the family. The family never wanted to hear from me. I've tried writing. I've got letters back. I've had my mom reach out. They said, it wasn't me. And what I did, and there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. But please don't tell me I'm not remorseful, because I am. You don't to go to bed every night to know that somebody passed away on your hands and your clock is a lot of weight on your shoulder for not just being here for the rest of my life. I have to take this with me.
I didn't say that you weren't remorseful. I said that you didn't express any remorse. You know,
because I don't know how to. I don't know if you. I've never been in this position before. How do I open up and start talking about how I took somebody's life?
Just like you're doing right now.
There's no right way to say it.
Suspended 6 years and 5 years probation for sales of narcotics. As of today, like parole eligibility, September 7th, 2025. There is victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows that the offender is currently in the Tier 2 program.
So apparently she sold something that unalived somebody else. And I feel horrible for the victim, but I do look at it like this too, that addict is going to get it wherever they find it. They're going to find it somewhere else if they didn't get it off of her, unfortunately. It's very sad.
Realize the women's risk, the offender's overall score for acidity falls within the moderate range. Ms. Ferrer, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you think you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Hi, I'm Christina. I think I deserve to make parole, just as I was deserving to sit down for 3 years for the mistakes I made. I learned a lot while being here, and I believe all the tools that I've used here, which I feel like has been a lot of great practice to take out in the real world to be successful. There is no choice. I have to be successful. I have a family that's waiting on me. I have animals. I have a career that I would like to get back. And the only way that's going to happen is if I do everything right, and I'm ready to do that. I've had tons of practice from learning how to walk away from situations. I've learned how to be patient. I was an athlete, so I know how to be structured. I know routine. I've just learned a lot about myself being here, things I didn't even know. I went to school to be a dental hygienist right before I got arrested, and I was successful. I went to MVCC for my associates. I got my BA from WestCon, and then I continued and went to Lincoln to get my dental hygiene license, which I did get, but unfortunately I was unable to use it because I got into trouble and came to Niantic. And I want to do everything I can to get back my whole life that I've been working for, which is to be successful, have a career.
This will be the last time I stop. I'm going to let it finish after this, but I want to say one thing. I guarantee she's going to get denied because she's not taking the victim into account. When you're going for parole, you want to be able to talk in because you're going to have a victim impact statement and everything. She's not taking the victim into, and she's not putting the victim on the forefront in her parole hearing. They're going to deny her. So a little advice, make sure to always put the victim first. You know what I mean? You got to let them know that you want to take accountability for your actions.
Take care of myself, take care of my family, and I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, that's the opening statement.
Yes.
So what happens here is that we've read about your background in this case.
Yep.
We've read about what you've done since you've been in.
Yep,
your interview with the parole officer.
yep,
And based upon that, we have some questions.
okay,
When we're done with questions, your portion of the hearing will be over. You can just sit there at that point. We're going to
okay,
hear from the Office of Victim Services.
okay,
And when they conclude, we're going to talk about your case and give you a decision, okay?
okay, thank you.
We'll start questions this morning with Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Sir Chair. So, Ms. Ferrer, I'm curious to know, I'm happy that you believe that you deserve parole, as, you know, I'm sure many people that sit in that seat believe that they do as well. I'm curious to know what you believe you've done to increase the likelihood of your returning to the community and staying out of trouble. You've had your degrees prior to going in. You have had family support. You had, you've been in school. And your animals and I'm just curious to know what have you done?
Here, you're asking?
Yes, there.
Well, I'm a worker, so that's always been something I've done here and there. I've had a job since I've been here, and I've had the
Doing
best
what?
jobs. I've done 4 North. I worked as a common area in 1 North with Captain Lark. I was a laundry worker.
Doing what in 1 North?
Oh, 1 North, the common area worker, which is
cleaning?
No, you answer to inmates all day. Whatever they need, you have to get. There's a supply closet, there's tissue, their chow, their diets, if there's a wrong tray.
Okay.
So having that job alone was tons of experience with patients, learning how not to react, not to let people upset you, how to deal with stress, how to deal with your emotions, because
Yeah, the
you have
eyes
to kind
never
of
lie,
somewhat be a
Chico.
people pleaser
Oh
in that
my
type
goodness.
of position.
Okay, what else?
Laundry, I worked on the tier for about 1.5 years and did everybody's laundry.
Okay.
Customer service, I was laundry work. I actually worked at a laundry department when I was in college. When you want to talk about people complaining all day about their clothing and being patient with that as well, not letting yourself get upset about somebody missing a sock. And I know it sounds like
so
little
Ms. Ferrer,
things.
and I apologize for cutting you off.
Yes.
But
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. Miss Ferrer is not doing very good. Like, are you on something? Like, what are you doing? And you're not talking about the victim at all. You're not gonna get parole.
tell, aside from work, what else have you done?
I've been in group meetings. In the middle of our building, we have groups with Ann. It's about 45 minutes. We attend those.
What are you meeting?
She has different topics on different days where we sit in a group and you discuss what you're feeling, your problems. It's just it's a daily, weekly thing that every building holds, and that's with the counselor of the unit. I signed up for Voices and I signed up for AA. There's a waiting list. It took me 3 years just to get into tier 2. And I was persistent, constantly wrote, and it's a wait list.
So you were in tier 4, I thought.
No, I'm in tier 2, and it took
You're
me
in tier 2 now, but I thought did they want you to take tier 4 or no?
No, it's tier 2.
Okay.
And that's addiction services on the west side.
Because I'm curious to know why you're in prison.
I'm in prison because I made the worst mistake of my life, pushing myself too hard. When I was in school, I always wanted the next best thing. I thought having my bachelor's wasn't enough. I wanted more. I wanted my income to be larger. I've never been satisfied. I pushed myself. There were signs that I should have stopped. I should have relaxed. I should have been proud of the accomplishments I was making, but I just...
And you can tell she's very smart. She's not stupid at all. So it's just like,
to be a dental hygienist,
and that's kind of scary sometimes too, because I know people who are very, very smart, and it can be scary as well.
Injured, so I ended up on prescription medications from a doctor, and we tried doing everything else besides going that route, but I was so determined to finish the program, which probably I should have stopped, and I ended up with back pain, and then the prescriptions led to a whole new world and a whole new me that I've never met.
So why are you in prison?
I'm in prison because I made a mistake of selling my narcotics.
You were
Stemming from,
Okay. And as a result of your selling those narcotics, because I didn't hear you mention anything about the reason why they found out you were selling drugs. You didn't mention anything about a victim or anything about a person dying. Nothing.
okay, I didn't, well, I was gonna get to that part, but yes, there was a life taken. Absolutely. That's the biggest part of this, why I'm here, is because I sold prescriptions and someone lost their life.
Well, that should have been the thing that you led with, though, because you didn't. You talked about how much work you'd done, how you were in school, everything about you and what you did, but nothing about this.
And I thought I was tripping, but I'm like, I haven't heard one thing about the victim. When's she going to say something? I guarantee she is not getting parole. You got to speak about the victim and take accountability. For real.
Victim, even in your opening statement, you failed to mention that. And so tell us how this person got the drugs. How did that transaction go?
From me, we were getting high together. So we were kind of, you would say we were getting partners, and we used the same drug, which was Percocets.
Because I think when you were interviewed by the officer, you said that you didn't sell drugs to her, that she bought drugs for the two of you to use. And
well, I sold my prescriptions as well to her, and we also used them together, and we also
that's
bought
not what
drugs.
You told the officer. So let me just explain this to you, Ms. Ferrer, because this exercise that we're having here is to assess your suitability for early release. And one of the things that we look at is accountability. And we want to make sure that the person who is before us recognizes that what they did was wrong. And
I'm not going to lie, the lady talking just has a strong aura. Just an ill aura.
Avoid the same behaviors in the future. So accountability is one thing. And that where we also look for a person who has been rehabilitated. And the way we assess rehabilitation is through program participation, refraining from disciplinary infractions, our discussion here, based on some of the answers. And everything that I'm hearing from you really is not showing me it's not showing me that you really have shown very much evidence of offender change. While I don't know when your interview occurred with the officer, but I think that at that time, I think you knew that it was important to speak about the victim that died as a result of your drug exchange. And yet, you didn't mention that until I brought that up. You talked about going to meetings and working and all that stuff, and I'm happy that you're in that. And it sounds like it's helping you. But I didn't hear you mention anything about how remorseful you were for selling her those narcotics, and how you want to apologize to the family or none of that kind of thing. And you haven't completed the treatment to address your substance abuse problem. You're currently in the tier 2. Is that correct?
Yeah.
When are you slated to finish that?
In November.
And is aftercare also in that facility?
And so what is aftercare supposed to mean?
It's once you're done with the tier 2 program, it's a continuation to show you really how to refrain from relapsing when you're out in the community.
Tier 4, if I was to move to the east side, there's nothing after tier 2 besides just all the other groups I've signed up for.
And so you're in Voices. You're on a wait list for Voices.
For Voices and for AA. And I wrote to tier 4, but it's just I'm a level 2, so I should be there. And I know there's a lot more help on that side. I mean,
I think that you need, I think you said in your opening statement that you deserve to be released just as you deserved your sentence. And I'm not sure that you deserve to be released just yet. I really believe that there's more work that you need to do to to increase your success, your chances of success when you're released out into the community. Because being stressed and trying to finish school and all those things that you spoke to us about shouldn't be, using drugs should not have been your coping mechanism to get through all that, and so.
It never has been, though. I went through 32 years of my life not using. So
right.
At 35, I did. So this isn't something that's been a lifestyle. And of course, I'm remorseful. It's very uncomfortable to talk about it. It's hard to say, I took a life. Of course, I take accountability. It was my fault. We were using together. She was buying from me. We were going to bodegas and buying drugs together. It was a whole bunch of things that were all wrong. I don't know how to start with the family. The family never wanted to hear from me. I've tried writing. I've got letters back. I've had my mom reach out. They said, it wasn't me. And what I did, and there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. But please don't tell me I'm not remorseful, because I am. You don't have to go to bed every night to know that somebody passed away on your hands and your clock is a lot of weight on your shoulder for not just being here for the rest of my life. I have to take this with me.
I didn't say that you weren't remorseful. I said that you didn't express any remorse.
Because I don't know how to. I don't know if you. I've never been in this position before. How do I open up and start talking about?
Well, yeah, no shit, you haven't been in trouble like this. I mean, I hope you haven't killed anybody before that. Like, come on, bro. At the end of the day, somebody lost their life. Whether you think it was wrong or right, just or unjust, you need to start talking about the victim, or you're not ever going to get parole. Like, you got to take some accountability and say, listen, I did this wrong, which resulted in the unaliving of somebody. And this, I just know there's going to be a victim impact that's definitely going to ruffle some feathers.
I took somebody's life.
Just like you're doing right now.
There's no right way to.
Sometimes I try to be a little bit biased because I do want to see the good in people. But with her, the fake tears, and I don't know if it's just me, but I see through the BS like nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm usually on, but this one, I ain't really fucking. I'm not messing with her. She's not doing too good.
And you have to talk about it, and you had to pull it out of me because I didn't know how to start that.
Just take a few deep breaths. I understand it's very difficult to discuss. I do. But unfortunately, it's something that we needed to address because we can't just sweep that under the rug.
No, I know that. I just didn't know how to talk about it. I'm so sorry.
I understand. And I didn't mean for you to become emotional. I just wanted to.
I'm sorry. I should have thought about my opening statement first. I just didn't know how to start with saying that. I never wanted to hurt anybody. I like to inspire people. I like to make people feel better about themselves. I don't put people down, and I never discuss much about what I've done with people here because they use it against you.
Yeah.
And there's not much therapy I've been able to have to talk about it with anybody here because everything is a group setting.
Right.
But it makes everywhere, and you get very discouraged when you do open, and then everybody starts talking about you, and it's a lot. But
I can understand that. I can understand that. But when you meet with mental health, do you have one-on-one sessions with them or no?
No, I go in and
It seems like now we got to some real genuine tears. She seems like she's actually starting to look back like, damn, I messed up. And it's like, you gotta think like that, though. You gotta take the victim into accountability. Someone passed, you know what I mean? So I knew she was gonna fail
We
from the
talk about
beginning.
medications and stuff like that, but I'm very scared to go home. I'm petrified that I'm gonna fail. I can't make any promises even to myself, but I know I'm gonna try. And I never wanted to hurt anybody. I'm not I'm not spiteful. I'm not.
And so listen to this, okay?
Okay.
Take a couple deep breaths. Just stop. I know it's a very emotional topic, and just I understand that you're fighting with it.
I'm gonna be honest though, to be a girl drug dealer, you gotta be tough. So I mean, if she was out there, I could tell why she's a little self-centered, narcissistic type. Because guess what? You gotta be like that when you're in the game.
Or what we've done, but the family of this victim has suffered tremendously as well. So it's really important that you not pretend like this didn't happen, and that you acknowledge it. So I do appreciate you doing that. My next thing is that we want you to go home as well. We do not want you to fail when you return to the community. We want you to have the best chances as possible to return to the community and do well and never return to prison again. But in order to do that, you have to work on yourself where you are. And I don't think that you've done enough of that just yet to make sure that you do return and never do this again, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you've done nothing. I'm not saying that you don't feel remorseful. I am saying that there is more work for you to do in order to show us that you're ready that you're strong enough to return to the community and do the right thing, okay? Don't beat yourself up. Listen, this is terrible. It's horrible, but the only thing you can do is say, I'm sorry. And, just as you've done, and do your best to make sure that maybe another family is not in this position ever again. Whatever you can do, whatever kind of advocating you can for people who are, survivors of substance abuse, or, you know what I mean? Something in that way to show that, I'm doing the very best that I can to prevent others from hurting like you hurt and like this family. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Board Member Keys.
Thank you for answering my colleagues' questions, and I think I was concerned a little with your opening statement as well. I'm not trying to pick on you in any way, but it sounded like there was still some discrepancy in the information. But then when you started crying, and it sounded like then you started being more honest about the role that you had taken with it, and so it's good. Obviously, this is extraordinarily painful, like my colleague said. But I think if you can allow yourself to be fully honest with yourself of what happened and your role in it, fully honest, that you did not use together that day, that you sold to her, those, because that doesn't go with what the witnesses said. So fully honest with yourself, and if you can process it while sober, then when you go out into the community, I think you'll be in a much stronger place and hopefully have some more confidence in your abilities. Because
And see, this is why when you get arrested, ask for your lawyer immediately. Because she said all of this stuff without knowing. If she just asked for a lawyer, none of this would be used against her. And maybe she would have been possibly in a better spot now. So ask for a lawyer when you get arrested. Nothing else. Don't say anything.
As horrible as this, sober, it would really mean that you're on a better foot for going out into the community. So I did just want to really quickly say that. Speaking of sobriety in the community, I just have 2 questions. Have you thought about how you plan to remain sober in the community? What groups you want to try to connect with? Anything like that? Have you kind of made a plan for yourself?
I want to get in contact with C-Cars because I've dealt with them before for a sponsor. My mom moved. She moved and got a condo in a different town, so we're in new places, people, and things. And Torrington, and there's McDonough House, so I was going to reach out to them because I'm going to need a lot of counseling.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy walking back into society. It's going to be shocking. I don't know what to expect, but I know I need support. And my mom...
And it's crazy. It's like, no matter how much direction they try to give her, She is so self-centered that she only sees herself. Start speaking about the victim. They're telling you, speak about the victim. Say, I'm sorry, I can't believe this. You got to go more in depth to that. Not you. Not just focused all on you.
So I'm
No
very lucky
accountability.
to have that. So I have 24 hours support, and it might be sound like too much, but it's going to be everything I need. So those are the support groups, and I want to give back to the community, and it would probably animal shelters. My mom does dog rescuing, so I like to be a part of that type of stuff. We've rescued from different countries before for animals, so I do have some good things to keep me in the right lane when the time comes.
Good. I think that's a good plan. I think knowing it's going to be scary, knowing it's going to be hard are positive signs for me, because it means that you're not living in a fantasy world. It is going to be difficult, but sounds like you have thought about it and you do have plans. And I think helping rescue animals is a wonderful idea, because you can see the power you can have to on helping another and how they can improve over time with consistency and love. I think I'm okay. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Board Member Keys. At this time, we're going to go to the Office of Victim Services.
Okay.
So your portion of the hearing, you just can listen at this point, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Vasquez, could you help us, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, board members. We have the victim's family. They're connected.
So this is going to be sad, obviously. This is a victim impact statement. And these are always really sad because crimes affect so many people, not just the person it happens to. And it's sad. Look at all these families messed up over one thing, you know? But
Yeah, conference call. In the order that we're going to have, the sister's going to read a statement, and then I'm going to be reading 3 other statements. Thank you. You may begin.
Your Honor, in May of 2019, Christina Ferrer sold narcotics to my sister, Jennifer Montgomery, and then texted her, "I promise you won't, LOL." Ferrer knew exactly what she was doing. That dose turned out to be lethal. The fentanyl-laced heroin she gave Jennifer contained 3 times the fatal amount instantly. Your Honor, Ferrer's promise meant nothing. My sister's gone, and that's why we're all here today. Ferrer was arrested 2 months after Jennifer's death, but bonded out, spending only a month in jail. Due to COVID-related delays, she remained free for years. During that time, she continued to disregard the law and human life. Over the next 2.5 years, she was arrested for shoplifting at the local Ace Hardware and for failing to appear in court. On the night before her trial, she even attempted to overdose to avoid facing the consequences of her actions. My family and I attended numerous court dates where we committed to seeking justice for our beloved Jen. Throughout the legal process, Ferrer showed no remorse at all. She did not ever try to reach out to us. In fact, she even made our family feel threatened and uncomfortable, staring us down in court, even blowing us a kiss. Our victim's advocate, Danielle, personally witnessed these disturbing instances.
And I swear I knew it. I'm like a human lie detector. I look at people and I can tell if they're BSing or not. Like, I could tell she was self-centered, narcissistic, blowing a kiss after someone died. That's not... See? Yeah, I knew she wasn't going to get parole from the start. I could tell by body language,
After
baby.
3 years
Body
and
language.
4 months of delays, Ferrer was finally sentenced in December of 2022. She received 6 years in prison for the sale. While we were relieved to see some accountability, we did not feel this sentence was fair. Our Jennifer is gone forever because of Ferrer's choices, and 6 years hardly feels like justice. Now, Ferrer has served less than 3 years of her sentence, and I understand there's discussion for potential parole. I want to make it very clear. I, Megan Montgomery, do not support parole for Christina Ferrer. My family and I firmly believe that she should serve her full sentence behind bars. The pain and loss she caused can never be undone, and she has shown no genuine remorse for the life she took. Thank you for taking the time to consider our family's feelings and considerations during this difficult process.
Thank you.
And now, to play devil's advocate. So this is what I'm going to say. An addict is going to find whatever they're going to use, and they're going to find it wherever. If she didn't give it to her, someone else was going to give it to her. Yeah, and I guarantee she didn't know it was 3 times the fatal amount or whatever. She didn't know that. She's just getting some things and trying to get them off and probably using, she's an addict and stuff. So, but unfortunately, the victim was going to find it anywhere. It's sad.
Thank you, Megan. I'm going to read 3 statements now. Good morning, board members. And I felt like my heart was being ripped from my chest and like she was being murdered again in front of me. Christina Ferrer told straight up to my daughter and then sent her a text message. Quotes. To do all those bags and they won't you. LOL. End of quotes. She knew poison, yet she sold them to my daughter and then encouraged her to do them, all via text message. To me, this is a pure evil act, and that needs to be punished to the full extent that the state allows. She went on to be arrested 8 more times while awaiting a trial. This is not somebody who deserves early release. The state and my family agreed right before her trial if she was willing to accept the state's terms of 5 years imprisonment, that the other 8 arrests would not be pursued. Christina Ferrer went on the run and didn't show up for her next hearing. They didn't find her until she was admitted to the hospital. The state added 1 year to her sentence for the no-show and going on the run, which my family agreed to. Acting good in prison, 3 years served is not enough time for killing my beloved Jennifer, and I do not accept it. Our family is very close, and without Jennifer in it, all of our lives have been greatly affected. My wife and my relationships have been terribly affected. My 2 other children are lost without Jennifer. She was wonderful, and she was a wonderful daughter, and we loved her, and she loved her life and her family. We are all destroyed every day by her absence. She's forever gone because of the actions of Christina Ferrer. Please consider.
But again, to play devil's advocate, I lost a close friend of mine, actually multiple friends of mine, to the Fetty Wap. So I understand, but it's like when they get involved in that stuff, once they start doing it, it's over.
My broken family and Jennifer's
It's a serious
tremendous
thing.
loss of her life, which she loved so much, and denied Christina Ferrer early release. Sincerely, Matt Montgomery. Dear board members, I feel that Christina Ferrer should stay incarcerated for the deaths of my sister, Jennifer Montgomery. She knowingly murdered her out of spite. My family will never be the same. Christina Ferrer is a threat to the community. Thank you, Matt Montgomery. Dear board members, I am writing this letter to you to please do not consider inmate 431500, Christina Ferrer, to not be granted an early parole program now or in the future. This girl has put myself and my family through enough. She is not an outstanding citizen, and she needs to stay in New York for her full sentence, which still in my book is not enough. My beautiful daughter, Jen Montgomery, was taken from me because of her. Giving her straight fentanyl and texted her to do it, saying, promise you won't die. I spent many months going to court for her court dates as she sat behind us, glaring and talking under her breath about us, which is documented. She has no remorse when she was arrested in July of 2019 and spent a little time in jail until she bonded herself out. She was arrested 8 times from July 2019 to December 2022. Larceny, suspended license, robbed a liquor store and an Ace Hardware in Wolcott, and a couple's second-degree failure to appear. The day that she was supposed to report to court to go to jail, she did not show up. Instead, she was at the hospital, and the court had to reschedule for the next day with a guard at the hospital door to escort her back to court. So I am asking you, please do not grant her any parole, because she will not allow any rules. She will not follow any rules, and go back to her way of life as a non-outstanding citizen. Thank you, Janet Montgomery. Thank you, board members. This is all that I have for this case.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez, and thank you to the family for weighing in on this case. And certainly we're incredibly sorry for your loss. Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Sir Chair. So, in terms of facts, it appears that Ms. Ferrer is considered a low risk to recidivate. She doesn't have an extensive criminal history, but she does have a history that is very concerning. She's a multi-state offender. She's received 5 disciplinary infractions this period of incarceration, and she has completed no programs to address her substance abuse and her criminogenic needs. I have listened to the input from the victim's family, and I extend my sincere condolences for their loss and the pain that they suffered. It's evident that Ms. Ferrer feels the pain too. You know, as she said, it's a very heavy burden to carry, knowing that you killed someone or someone died because of something that you gave them. The fact of the matter is that Ms. Ferrer is not serving a life sentence, and she's not in prison. She's in prison for 6. It's evident that she too struggles with substance abuse. And I would like to see her get the help that she needs while she's there, in hopes that she will be successful when she returns to the community. So while she rates low, she has not demonstrated a level of change, in my opinion, that would warrant her being released based on her poor institutional adjustment and her inadequate program participation. So I would deny her today for discretionary parole, but I would be willing to rehear her after she's completed some additional programming.
Well, it's getting to the end of it. I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. But yeah, I knew when she was only talking about herself, that the parole board wasn't going to grant her parole. You have to express remorse. And this lady, to be honest, she shows none at all. You know, and I usually want to look for the best in people, but her, I can tell that she's not ready. And if she was let out, she'd probably do the same thing. And I can't even fault her for it. That's her life. You know what I mean? That's on her, not me.
And the same, I would also say injury and impact to the victim and victim's family.
So I am of the same thought. A couple of things. One is that we're in tier 2 right now. Voices is a program that deals with understanding victim impact and what happened in a case, and more than likely a good place to start with the expression of what Ms. Ferrer needs to process. The release plan, I appreciate what's there. I'd like to see it spelled out a little bit better in terms of taking a look at what exactly she'll do for a recovery plan. What are we going to do on a daily basis for that to occur? The release plan, there's some good information there. I would take a look at, rather than just say, we'll look for work when released, give us some kind of idea on where you're headed with that. And definitely, I mean, the DR history, we go back to, in the last 2 years, there's been 2 disciplinary reports, one being out of place the other having too many blankets and sheets for a contraband B ticket. So I would encourage that to happen. So when are you thinking? Are you thinking October of next year? Are you thinking 6 months? Are you thinking, what are we thinking?
So originally I had 18 months, but and that was honestly because I knew that we were going to have some victim input and I wanted to respect the victims. And I still am in that position where I want to honor, the victim's request. But I would do maybe January of 2027. In that way, she could have a solidify a release plan and refrain from incurring infractions of 60 steps or hearing, and just continue to work on herself to be the best possible person she can be when she's released.
That would be a good thing, having some kind of supervision prior to release on probation.
Yes.
What I heard was injury and impact or institutional adjustment, inadequate institutional program participation.
I would also add the nature and circumstance, even though I know that that's not going to change, but it is, we see sales cases all the time. And we don't know that people have died, which we don't assume, but,
Yeah. So regarding Christina Fair 431520, I move to deny parole at this time based upon the nature and circumstance of the current offense, injury and impact to the victim and victim's family, inadequate institutional program participation, or institutional adjustment. And to rehear this case in January of 2027, we would suggest that you complete your OAP and any other positive programming that you can take, develop a recovery plan that's more substantial. It's based in daily recovery and a release plan that may help identify a little bit further employment opportunities close to where you'll be paroling to. If that panel agrees at that time that you've done what you need to do in order to make or be suitable for early release.
there's a second.
And there's a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. And Miss Fair, you've heard our concerns for you, and we hope that you get out there and continue to do what you need to do and come back and see us in January of 27. Thank you.
This concludes hearing for Christina Fair, inmate number 152, sir. Ms. Fair, you're all set. You can head back. I'll get this in writing in a couple days.